Hello, hello, hello. My name is Jack Blaine and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another tips and tricks video in Satisfactory, and for reference or for like clarification, we're going to be highlighting some things that I've learned from a different video. The video in question, if I bring up so I don't mispronounce this, is from KillFrenzyFIN. KillFrenzy Finland, I am assuming, a channel on YouTube that does satisfactory videos. And they made a video called Satisfactory and how to build vertical circle, horizontal circle, arch, ball, and dome. And I kind of want to highlight a few specific things here and get into things a little bit quicker and showcase something that I think is like directly applicable no matter your skill level and patience level, because this takes a lot of time. You can't really work within Blueprint designer parameters unless you're working with like modded Blueprint designers. So what are we talking about? We're talking about these things. We're talking about arches specifically, and we're talking about like cylinders, circles, and how we can apply them to our show. And we're going to start out very quickly with how to make them, and not with bombs. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with what are they made out of. Okay, so all of these are big concrete pillars. Like in this case, it's just big concrete pillars, and in this case, it's just big frame pillars to make the arch. And basically, you can make arches out of any one of these items, and with the help of this as your sources, so to speak. And I want to just quickly show how to make this, like the outer circle here, and like it's going to be like a very, very quick, okay, how do you do it kind of thing. So let's start. I'm gonna go start over here. I'm gonna place it here so you can see that it is centered. And you can see I have everything in my hotbar as well. I just want to make sure that I show. So it's a default build mode. You go all the way up to 40 meters, the maximum. Then you apply the beam connector on the top. You remove this, so you have this floating above your base foundation. And I switch to diagonal build mode right with this. And as you can see, if I just go straight down, it's 40 meters. Depending on the size of the circle you're trying to make, you go either 1 or 2 steps out. Like in that case, I have gone 2 steps out. So I'm going there. I click, and then I stop. As you can see, this is now a little bit of an angle. And if I grab the concrete and I aim at the pillar, it will attach to the bottom of the pillar. Regardless of that bottom pillar's angle, I click. Then I have to remove this. This is because of how the beam connector works, and like it doesn't like when you overlap things too closely. So as you can see, I just go out so that it's half is marked. Once again, I place, I remove. What I basically then do, and this is something that I've learned now that I've experimented with this. If I go back to default, what I should have is I should have anchor points in each direction here, 40 meters out, and I should do a quarter each. Don't try to do the entire circle in one go. It's going to come out uneven, and you're going to get like weird jagged finishing pieces and stuff like that. So do a quarter per. So if I were to continue here, I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera because it takes a while to do. Go to diagonal, boom. If I then go back here, I will just continue this all the way up to here, to where it connects with this, and there's no like overlapping edges, or like rather like holes. Like if I were to delete one of these, there we go. Like you don't want this, right? You want the full circle, right? And then once you hit there and you've achieved this, then you start from this piece and you go here, and you move up to this piece, and then you start from here and go down to that piece. You don't go with one all the way around, okay? So do a quarter at a time. And of course, if you want like super detailed, like very, very specific, you want to deep dive into this, get really, really good at it, I like 100%. I'm leaving his or their video in the description so that you can go and check it out. But yeah, this is like the easy, I'm just going to do it very quickly kind of thing. What you can also do to make sure that you are able to do like the different circle sizes that I've done here as a very easy thing. Instead of like, because it's very janky trying to always measure out. For example, if I do this and I go for the default, trying to go like, oh no, I just want a 10 meter radius on my circle. The problem with that becomes apparent quite quickly when you start getting the jankiness of this. Because you can see that's not 10 meters anymore. That is 10.198039. And to get it to work, it's a lot easier if you do the full outer circle first. Like I'm saying easier because it's like actually going to be uniform and look like a nice circle. That is to go to do the full circle, right? Let's say that I've done the full circle all the way around and I want to make a circle that is like 10 meters. I grab one of these, I go out, there's 10 meters. Then I grab this and I zoop. All right, I can't do an exact 10 meters, but I can be happy with this. Like this is the closest thing I can get. Then I stop here, and then I take the next section because they're far out enough that I can overlap, and I can do this, right? And then I just continue doing this on every block all the way around the circle, and then I wanted to keep this, right? So I just delete the rest that I didn't want and go like this. Yeah, okay, there's still some stuff left. There we go, right? Because then now you get this specifics, or this circle specifically with that kind of outer pattern. You can see that there's always some kind of outside pattern, even if you have a very smooth inside. You can look here as well. You get like an outer pattern, some Z fighting, complementary of the process. And as you can see, there's like different visuals you can get depending on what you want. You want to build a Stargate? This is how you do it. And then you can, of course, decorate it with a bunch of different stuff, especially if you want to get rid of the Z fighting. Just remember that what you've placed down is a pillar, so whatever you place on it will behave as if you're placing it on a pillar. So that's something to keep in mind. And then that's like the basics. That's the very, very easy thing to do when you're making these circles. The question is then like, okay, but where would I apply this? What would I do to like build something nice with this? Well, what you can do is have it as the entrance for a train section, for example. So let's say that I have, let's say I'm gonna go with these. I'm gonna just switch up and go to vertical, and I'm gonna go up here. And I'm gonna switch over to my 1 meter foundations. Gonna zoop, right? What I can do now is here have in this cylinder, I could have that as the entrance to my main hub, where I just have my trains now going, right? So this is now where I have train number 82 million coming in, right? And then you can decorate this however you want. Like you could make this cylinder, instead of making it this large cylinder, you can make a cylinder here. I don't see why not. Like, go for it. You could probably even like make it a jagged cylinder. Something that would also be nice is like you can cut parts of it out, right? Like this. So let's say that I do this to make different patterns into it. I'm gonna, can I remove the marking here? Thank you. Right, so I can take this and switch out which kind of pillar I have currently placed on it. So what I can do now here is, let's go for the number 7, right? And I can go place new pillar kind to break up the monotony. Let's try and see if I can actually do this properly without making every single misclick I can, right? Because now what we are doing is we are like texturing, right? And as you can see, suddenly you have a very nice thing. And especially if you're playing with like Lumen, you can have that as like, okay, here's where daylight can come in, right? So yeah, you can do a bunch of stuff with this. But yeah, basically the way that it is cylinder is like I said before, I literally just like go however long out I want, and then I go to the next part, and the next part, repeat infinitely. And then I do that around the whole thing. But yeah, like you can do a lot of like visually very, very cool stuff with these circles, especially if you are used to only playing in a certain way, that like everything looks a certain way, everything plays a certain way. You can do a lot with a design like this. So I'm gonna show you guys something pretty simple that you can do, and you can do it because of the, what's it called? Because of the circle, like to make it look very, very cool. And let's see here. In, I think is it in walls? I think. Yeah, automated gate. And if I flip that around, I can then make. Okay, I need to go one more out. And there we go. Literally just like make something simple. And I need to go into architecture because I need to place this somewhere where it doesn't normally go, where it's not normally placed. And that would be there. And it would be there. Walls. There we go. Not what I was trying to do. And it's not supposed to be in the middle, it's supposed to be at the edge. Oh, I'm really good at this today. Yeah. So architecture, we want the road barrier. As everyone knows that has watched some of my videos, the road barrier is, together with this technique, obviously, some of the most powerful architecture enabled blocks in the game, because you can manipulate how things are placed on their snapping grids that would not normally be possible. Let's see, walls. There we go. There, I'm just gonna go with there we go, on top. Right, so now that it stops there in the middle, I'm gonna switch this out again. I'm gonna place you at the bottom of this. There we go. And I'm gonna place that. Do the same thing over here. And try and make this work. Boom. Of course, it takes a bit of a jankiness to make something like this work, because you are specifically trying to make things outside of the normal build parameter. I didn't mean to place gates there. What I want to do is place, like, if I then approach, can you open? Okay, they will only let you place like that. Okay. Let's not remove my hard work here. But yeah, let's see if I can make this look somewhat nice. There we go. All right, you could then align this like better with like the middle. You could lift it up higher so that you have the train going in the middle and everything. But yeah, let's move this so that the door closes. Or will it not close now because of... Oh yeah, need to remove this first. Yeah, now it closes. So when your train approaches, it will open the doors. And if you look at them from the outside, you can make some pretty nice stuff. Like this purely as like inspiration for what you can do with your builds. But I really wanted to put some emphasis and share this more because there's a lot of these builds out there. And while that's perfectly acceptable, if you don't care a darn about your decoration and what your factories look like I would even question like why are you putting walls and a ceiling on it? You like there's a lot of people who do that, like have open air factories. They look very nice too. Like you can have it like this, perfectly fine. But yeah, and if you want to change up the visual style and break away from the square or the laying down circles, because remember you have those as well, where you do the whole, like you have one like this, you flip once, you go to 10, remove the first one, and then you flip one more, you hold control when it's aligned, and you flip one on your mouse wheel. And then you go for the next one, or the, like that's one way of making a flat circle. And then on the, here you also have this technique where you can go with this, you place one, and then if you want to make a soup, two, like this is also how to make curves. You can do all of these things, right? And this is very good at fixing the flat, like laying down. I've completely forgot the word. Vertical, lateral. That's the lateral directional like curves. It's very easy to add. Those techniques are commonly known and they're pretty much everywhere. Using this technique, I think you can really do some stuff. And just with this basic, just focus on trying to make it like, if you can, make it small enough that it fits in your blueprint designer so you can carry it with you. As it stands right now, the full size circle, like with my modded blueprint designer, if I grab the biggest one, and if I place that under here, I'm just gonna press H so you can see the size. Even that, like, it's not large enough to fit within that circle or fit within that blueprint designer. That's how large the I could probably make something like this fit, but generally, even with the largest modded blueprint designers, you can't necessarily like place something like this in that designer and save it. But if you make a circle, like if you manage to make the circle that is this size, and put that in the designer, then you can probably carry that around with you and have that. And the same thing goes for the arches. Having the arch, smaller arch, with you, I think can work very nicely. The arch I made very simply by going like so. I went to the middle of where I wanted the arch to be, and I grabbed this, right? And I went like this, and I went, I didn't even do that. Sorry, I am lying right now. I went, I think I placed the side first, yeah. So I did this, placed the side, placed the first one, then I placed this middle in a default, went all the way out, placed this here, went all the way to the other side, all the way up, right? And then I switch this out because this is not aligned to the same direction as everything else when you place it there. So I switch out the first one I place. Same thing over here. I make sure that I place that, place this, and then I have the top center one. And then I do the same thing that I did over with this section over here. Main difference is that I'm using the pillar supports to create a support for the arch. And what will happen because you're doing this is that now you can make an arch that goes here. That's no problem. You just have to place the full arch and then very, very quickly go for the or drag in the same way that I made a cylinder over here. Or rather how I made this when I said that you place these and you drag in to where you want the circle to be. You just do that with the arch and you can have different sized arches. But you gotta work from the largest possible section and then work inwards from there, or these will be misaligned in terms of distance from your base starting points. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. I am going to experiment with this. I might use it in my beginner series, or I might use it later when I get a little bit better at it. I will be practicing a little bit and see what I can come up with. And then I hope that taking this with you, you can hopefully design some really, really cool stuff. So this was supposed to be like a shorter video, just helping you expand the utility box that you have in terms of building, decorating your bases. For me, it kind of sets like scale in perspective, because most of the time you think like, okay, yeah, well, I can fit everything like this. Yeah, but the game puts the maximum distance you can place these at 40 meters. So I need to learn to start thinking at this scale when I'm designing the bases, which means that I can fit a lot more in a factory than I think, like a lot more. So yeah, so a lot of like cool insights you get from trying this stuff out. Once again, go check out the original by KillFrenzyFIN. I will leave the description his video where he goes into a lot more depth and a lot more like technical know-how about how to use this to make more. So if you're going for more than just trying to make a basic circle or anything like that, he is or they have the video to watch. So I'll see you next time, and until then, if you like this stuff and want to see more, check out the Smart Factory video that I made last time. You can also check out how I'm using making infinite conveyor lifts, or you can check out my beginner series where I do a playthrough that is geared more towards people who are playing for the first time and want to progress along with me. So have a very good time, everyone, and see you later. Bye.